I've been talking about the Arizona game of 2024 without the permission, I guess, to talk about it, but it's official now. So we are playing Arizona in 24. So I'm glad they got it worked out. I guess I put more pressure on them than need be to get it worked out, but that's one I want. I think Arizona, Colorado, Texas Tech, Arizona State, I mean, all those schools we should try and play as much as we can. I'd love to get home and homes with them. We're working on the back end of that deal, so we'll see what happens there. And then I think in 2022, is it next year? 22? We got Maine now official on the schedule, so that'll be our 1AA opponent that we play next year. We also go to LSU next year. And then we get another opportunity. Obviously, probably people know this or don't know this, September 2nd at 23, going back to A&M. And I can't wait. So positives there. I said I won't talk much about the Texas A&M game. We just need to put it behind us. But I don't think we were ready for that atmosphere. I don't think we were ready for that team. It had nothing to do with physical ability. Had nothing to do with toughness. I think it had to do with mental attitude. I don't think we were mentally prepared to play that game. And that's a part of the thing that we need to change around here, that I think after we saw some things on tape. Now, there are no moral victories. There are no excuses. We got our tails whipped. We did. 34-0 is a tail whipping. We proved at points during that game we can play with that group. And I think our kids finally saw some of that and believe in it. So you should see some progress in that matter of fact. We got a great opponent this week, the UTEP Miners, long-time series. Haven't played since 2014. I mean, it's one of those games just like the Arizona State, Colorado's. I mean, I think we should play that game all the time. Now, we're not in the same league. We were in the same league for many years. Haven't been since 99. But prior to that, the series 42, 33, and 5, I mean, we won 42 of them. So we played them a bunch. They're familiar with us as far as the program. The two teams aren't familiar with each other because we haven't played in 7 years. So that's exciting to have that back, an opportunity to go down there and then continue that here. We'll see how much we can fit that into our schedule. They've got some New Mexico kids on their team. Gavin Hardison, the quarterback, is from Nimi. Forrest McKee, a fullback from Oñate. So those two kids, and they play a lot. They on offense, they're going to try and pound us into submission. They're going to try and run the ball. They're good at it. Coach Dimmel is building their model after Kansas State. He was with Bruce Schneider for many years, and they're doing a lot of the same things they did there. They're going to be a tough football team. They play football the right way. They believe in what they're doing. They're a year ahead of us on his mission to turn that program around. He got there in 2019. So they've made progress on defense. Very similar, maybe not talent-wise to A&M, but structure-wise and physical size. I mean, the two inside guys are both 315-pound guys. They play 4-2-5. They're pretty aggressive in the secondary. I mean, I like watching them play on tape because they play the game the right way. So it'll be an exciting opportunity to go down there and play a good football team. 7 o'clock on Saturday night. So, I mean, it's a 4-hour trip. It's not that big of a deal to get down there. So, I mean, I hope we get a whole bunch of Cherry and Silver fans to go down there. And, I mean, just continue along the way. Go ahead, Brandon.
How much are you looking forward to seeing how the offense responds this weekend?
A lot. We challenged them yesterday I challenged them yesterday, both coaching and playing, to be better. I mean, you can't get held to 122 yards in a football game. I think we could have done some things schematically a little bit different. We had some success. We need to do a better job up top in the press box of seeing some things that we can have success doing, and that's coaching. I mean, that's not the kids' fault. Now, our kids need to make more plays, but if we don't give them a good enough chance, then that's on us. And so I think you'll see a better prepared football team. And mentally, I mean, we should have practiced better last Tuesday than we did today, and I don't think we did. I mean, just knowing the opponent, the fifth best team in the country, you should have such a anxiety to play them, a good anxiety. I don't think we had that. And I thought today's practice was significantly better than last week's. It was more physical. Thought the energy was a lot better today than it was last week. That is mental attitude, nothing else. I mean, that fear obviously started last week during the week, and that's something we need to change. I mean, the attitude should be those guys over there have no idea what's about to happen to them. We're not there yet. Go ahead, Brittany. Bethany, sorry.
You're fine. Terry said he called a meeting with the offense, to kind of regroup after what happened in College Station. Did you know about that? And what does that say to you about him as a leader?
He's got a lot of great leadership capabilities. So they had that meeting yesterday right after our team meeting. Terry takes a lot of responsibility for how poor we played on that side of the ball. Man, that's good leadership too, because when your best players don't play very good, obviously we didn't coach them good enough, and he didn't play good enough. So obviously he didn't prepare. There was I think it was the fourth play that we had on offense. Both our tackles get beat and he gets high load. I mean, that takes a lot of confidence out of you standing back there in the pocket and throwing the football. And I thought that had something to do with it. Now those guys were talented, but we got to slow him down a little bit to give him some time. And then some of our receivers we blocked okay on the perimeter, but we've had an opportunity in the first 2 weeks, and here's a perfect example, Luke Wysong. Luke Wysong's going to be a great player. Luke Wysong ran a 10.5 500 meter. He's really fast. Well, those guys we were playing with last Saturday on the other side, they were pretty fast too. And his whole life here in New Mexico high school football, he's going against guys that aren't as fast as him, so he's been always able to run to the sideline and get around them, and it's been no big deal. Well, the first time we had off the fly sweep, they beat him to the sideline by about 3 yards. There was an opportunity for him to cut the ball up vertical and probably get 8 or 9 yards. Later in the game, he did. He'll get used to that. He'll get better, and we'll get better from that. But understanding what we've got to do, that experience will be very helpful from Saturday. Go ahead, man.
Up front, what's the emphasis as far as on the offensive line, better protection and stuff like that?
Being physical, knocking them off the ball. We've got to be able to run the ball better. We couldn't run the ball better when we had a tight end or two tight ends and there was too many guys in the box. They were more athletic and they were long. I mean, that's a big advantage when you have somebody that's got a reach that's 6 to 8 inches longer than you. It's hard to get off blocks. It's hard to get your hands inside. So we've got to be able to address that. When we spread them out, we had more success. So knock them off the ball, regardless of the formation. Now we'll match up a little bit better, obviously, but we've got to be a lot more physical on initial contact on both sides of the ball, defensively too. I mean, we got in their backfield some, but we're not creating separation on contact nearly as good as we can or we will.
Just to follow up to that, Coach Demo was saying that he thought that you guys as far as the teams, you guys matched up pretty evenly. Do you agree with that, or what do you see?
No, I think both. I think not only just physically as football players, I think program wide. I think there's a lot of similarities. They're in the beginning of what he thinks he can build down there at UTEP to be something really good, and there's been some 10-win UTEP teams. We're in the process of building something that I think can be very special. We have the same mentality that football is played in a physical manner, and you can erase talent gaps by being physical, and there's no difference. There's a lot of similarities between the two programs, and we're 4 hours apart, so we recruit a lot of the same kids. So I think it's a great matchup on paper. I think it'll be a great matchup on the field, and the team that plays the hardest, the longest, is going to have the best chance to win.
Coach,
go ahead, Aaron.
how physical a football team are you right now? Because if you take a survey, I'm sure, an honest survey with honest response from the Texas A&M Aggies, and they graded your physical play, you'd get high ratings, because there's several of them that limped off the field on Saturday. What do you think?
I think we're making progress, but I think it's play by play. Sometimes we play really physical, and we get after people, and other plays we don't. That has to be, and it's the same way in running to the football on both sides of the ball. Blocking on the perimeter by our wide receivers, running to the ball and getting that extra lick by our DBs. We're not nearly close enough to our expectation. We've made significant progress from last year. We're a lot more physical than we were last year at this time. If we'd have played Texas A&M last year in the third game of the season, we'd have probably got beaten by 70. So that's a positive that we're better there, but we've got a long way to go. It's not okay to get beat 34-0 and feel better about yourself because you had good plays against the fifth-ranked team in the country. That, not to me. I mean, I had zero desire to go over there and hope we played good. I mean, we're going to pin our ears back and go. I mean, we got after them on defense. I thought our guys were intimidated at the beginning because they didn't think they were as fast as them, didn't think they could cover them.
Quickly, did you grow from that game?
Did we grow from it? Some aspects. No different than the New Mexico State or the Houston Baptist game. But we got our tails whipped. I want to say other words, but I won't. Yes?
You talked a lot about mentality for the Texas A&M and just not really being there. How do you think the mentality has shifted coming into the UTEP game this weekend, especially amongst the leaders of the team after that tough loss?
Because UTEP's the exact same way. They think they're as good as us or better. We think we're as good as them or better. So when you mentally going into a game know that you've got no doubt in your mind you can win the game, just like UTEP has no doubt in their mind they can win the game, it'll be a great matchup. We did not have that on Saturday. That disappoints me. We didn't. I mean, that's the reality of it. That's why I think September 2nd, 2023 is such an important date on our calendar. There's a lot of other games before then, but there should be a completely different attitude. And if there's not, if I'm saying the same things in the press conference, then I don't belong. I don't need to be the head coach. We need to significantly change between now and then, or the program's not going the right direction. This weekend, and I don't know that there's a game on our schedule that we shouldn't go in with the attitude and not be afraid. And I think our football team understands that, and I think they'll approach it. And I think it's why practice was better today than it was last Tuesday. But I think it's a good question. Go ahead, Van.
Could you just talk about Dumas going back home and how much he's progressed since you've been here and what you'd like?
I think from January to now, I'm really proud of him. I think he ran really hard. He was probably the most productive running back on Saturday. He hits the hole downhill. He's got a really low center of gravity. I thought the lights were a little bit bright on the first night. That's not unexpected for a true freshman. The speed of this game is so much faster than high school, just like the speed of the NFL is so much faster than what we play. And he's adjusted pretty quick. I think we've got a pretty good 1-2 punch right now, and Chad has showed some signs of that in the first two games of being a third guy. We've got to get Bobby Wooden going because Bobby Wooden's probably our opportunity at having a guy that can just blow it out the middle right now and go. And I don't think he's playing it fast enough yet. But Aaron going back and playing in front of his home crowd will be really cool. He went to high school there, grew up there, went back for prom in May. So that just goes to show you he was at high school prom 5 months ago. I think he's made great progress, and I think he's going to be a really good player for us.
Just to follow up on that, Joey Noble, did you have to bring his head down a little bit? Because he got after it.
Nope. Joey Noble proved he could play in that league. Joey Noble has the confidence that our entire team needs to have. He was losing his mind on the sideline because he believed that we were going to go in there and compete and win. He didn't have enough teammates that believe the same thing. So guys like him help. They help with that. And Joey proved it. He can play out there. They couldn't block him. They could not block Joey Noble. And I've been saying it for the last 6 months. He's going to be one of the best defensive linemen in this league, and I think he proved. Now, we've got a whole bunch of conference games to play for him to continue to prove that. But he proved against the best competition in the country that he's everything we thought he was. And we need his attitude to be contagious to the rest of our guys.
He said he was going to do that.
He did.
He actually told me that.
He did.
Yeah.
And he was right. He did. They couldn't block him. The only way they blocked him was to hold him. What else? Awesome. You guys were easy today. Well, I'm looking forward to Saturday. Hope we get a whole bunch of you down there, and it's an easy trip. Got anything else? Awesome. Go Lobos.